areas, bringing my entire endocrine system into balance, into harmony. But the most recent discoveries that I've made, and science knew about it, medical science knew about it, but it didn't really go into the depth of how sound and the role sound plays into it. But there are two, in the vagus nerve, there are two channels, and one is the dorsal and one is the ventral. Well, the ventral vagus nerve is connected to the larynx. So when you create a sound, a tone, when you even speak, you are stimulating vagal tone. Why is that important? Because vagal tone, if the vagus nerve has its vagal tone, it means it's regulating the parasympathetic, which is your rest, restore, chill, the response in your nervous system. So that's why when you get so activated in the part of your nervous system that is in fight or flight, immediately do a sound, any of the soft vowels will stimulate and regulate the parasympathetic. But wait, there's more, because it decreases inflammation. It boosts immune function. It lowers blood pressure. It stimulates various enzymes that allow your body to move into a more receptive and easy moving, good feeling place. So you're boosting the hormone oxytocin and dopamine and serotonin. All of that is going on with one sound. The more you repeat those tones, you do this on a regular basis, you are now helping your body create a new dominant frequency, which means that your body will automatically know to go to the choice of well-being or ease versus in reaction. And you'll start to notice these things, that your default position will be to make a sound. Let me relax, restore, balance, and reassess, at various times. And you may not have the bandwidth intellectually to understand an issue you're trying to solve, but your body-brain does, because that's all encoded in the cell structure of your body at birth. So that's what we're opening up through these tones. We're tuning the cells so that we're bringing more vitality back to the cell, so that we have access to that particular information.
I love this. You also had a conversation with me very recently where you talked about using the voice to summon energy, like that source energy, and like how that then also plays into sort of, I don't know how you would quantify that, but it really, something in that conversation we had really brought another level of depth to these tones for me. And I wonder if you could just speak to that piece of it a little bit. It's like that summoning power that these tones actually hold.
Thanks for that question. Most of us don't realize that our voice is what magnetizes our intention. And we may not put it quite like that, and you may have had some surface understanding, conceptual understanding that, your intention to speak them out loud and affirmations. But the more you do it, and the more your body is holding full body resonance, you impact the greater capacity to launch energy, to summon and launch energy into the biosphere. Then you're charging every particle, subatomic particle in the room, which means that it stays alive. It is now letting the universe, if I may go into a metaphysical explanation, is letting the universe know that you mean business, that this is something that you know is yours to have. Whether it's having the money to buy X, Y, or Z, or having love in your life in a way that you've never imagined it, or having opportunities show up at your doorstep, drop into your mailbox, knock at your door. It is that phenomenal if you start to get out of the way and use this energy. Because as I think in our conversation, we were talking about how we work too hard. We are over exerting ourselves, and we're also not using this huge source of summoning that energy and then launching that desire. So in order to manifest anything, we have to use our voice. Not, the idea is nothing. Thought really, until the body instrument is fully tuned and the voice is awakened, will the thought have power. Because right now, most of us are compressed with stress. So the thought, just having a happy thought, will do some modest movement in the brain chemistry. But launching the language of, I feel confused today, and I'm moving into a state of clarity. This I know, all is well. So you move into those places in your language, your body then gets the message, the direction at every cell and every molecule in your body, and starts to set up the frequency in your own vibratory transmission that calls that in. So it's like, I loved you mentioned that the sound of the voice and these tones is so much more than just sound. It is all that we are. And if we're going to move out of this pandemic state of being, this freeze frame that we're in, we have to remember that it's up to each one of us to do that in our own lives. That the world is not my job. The world is a reflection of how I relate to myself. So changing that relationship, changing that dynamic, changing the vibration of my own being changes my output, which means changes the ripple of my frequency of wholeness.
Thank you for that. As you were talking, I was, for those of you who aren't familiar with these tones and you might be brand new to the practice, there are very specific sounds for each of the endocrine systems and each of the chakras that we will be going over and teaching as Tryshe shares her practice in the challenge. But I started this practice and was a little shy and felt a little nervous about, what if I'm not getting it right? What if the sound isn't like exactly the way you're doing it? And, just can you sort of talk about, my voice is my journey, and starting where I am is really the key to unlocking what needs to be unlocked inside of me, right? But can you just talk about the tones, and is there a correct way to do them? And what are we really looking for to have them be the most effective tool in our tool bag?
Wonderful, wonderful question. And all of us carry a lot of distortion in our voices because the tongue is tight and the jaw is tight. So that has changed the energy of what we launch. So I may say, I am open to receiving love in my life. But if I am in such a state of distress and allowing only a pinprick of vibration, of possibility to move through me in that request, that's all I'll be able to summon. So these tones will open that capacity. So you want to have, from wherever you sit and whatever voice you have, and even if you've had damage to your voice, immaterial, wherever you are, let your mouth open as comfortably and as wide as possible, that allows the full range of overtones to bounce off your primary resonating chamber of your mouth. So when I make a sound of my mouth is as wide as 3 fingers. I used to say 2, but I think now we should probably work with 3. We got it.
We've grown since then. Yeah, we've expanded.
But that open sound, you can start to hear the warmth, the roundness, the fullness of the tone. The more you start getting sensitized to the making that sound, you'll start to hear the subtle layers of overtones, which means the tones that are created when your body creates as an instrument that sound that is pinging off your bones, pinging through your cranial chamber, and it is making overtones. That's what's changing the neural network. That's what's etching new sequences in the brain, so that your open voice, your open sound, whether you feel like your voice is tight or your vocal folds and cords have been damaged, Don't worry about it. Just open as wide, don't strain, and make your sound. Now we start at a deep tone. The root sounds like this. And that is a very deep anchoring of sound. The lower the frequency, the lower the hertz, the lower the vibration of that area of your body for movement to awaken. In fact, energetically, this is a fabulous sound to do if you're feeling a little intestinal blockage, let's say a little constipation. Whether that constipation is emotional, psychic, spiritual, or
physical,
visceral.
right? Yes.
Physical, yeah. So not to worry about hitting a right note. The note is not what the universe responds to. It's the tone, the depth, and the low tone that you make. In fact, the universe does not respond to the chromatic, diatonic, platonic, tempered systems, tuning systems of music theory. So just throw that aside, and you're just going to work with what feels the lowest you can make in that moment. And then moving up with each other tone, we've got vowels moving up, so that oh, and the third one is this EEH sound, where you're actually engaging the intercostal muscles and the rib cage to squeeze the sound out of you. All of these practices are on my ebook, the free ebook, and there are YouTube videos of me doing them. So if you would go to either my website and get the free gift, it's a little gift me button, or go to YouTube and type in Primordial Tones or Chakra Sounds with Tryshe, and you will get those YouTube, you'll get the tutorials. And then as we do the tones, you will be able to have some familiarity with the practice. But working with these tones doesn't require a lot of thought. It just requires sensation. So feel that sound, but making sure that your mouth is shaping the architecture of that sound in a way that is maximizing the potential.
Two thoughts that I have about that. The first is I just want to let everyone know that I put if you haven't already received the free gift that we created, it is a beautiful PDF. And like Tryshe said, it links to those teachings on the videos. And I just put the web address at soundshifting.com. It's in the chat, so everyone can have easy access to that. And then the other thing I was thinking about is you were talking about the throat and opening your mouth and how for some of us that can be a really vulnerable thing to do. And just an invitation, and what I've learned over time from working with you is just if emotion comes, to just make space for it and let it move, because there's so much tenderness in how we've all been silenced in our lives in certain ways, or how we haven't had permission to speak or use our voice, and how this practice is going to actually bring us up against the edge of all of that, what you call resistance, in those places that we're holding back. And just to be really gentle with ourselves as we dive into this transformational experience, because it is a spiritual practice. It is a transformational practice. And so I just wanted to speak to that, because that has been my experience in working with these tones.
Oh, I'm so glad you did. And yeah, bring up a beginner mind, give yourself permission to explore, and don't judge yourself for not getting it right or sounding like me. I've been doing this for a long time. You too will evolve your voice so that you can allow greater vocal and harmonic capacity. But you have to start where you are and know that any sound you make, and as far, wide, and comfortably and gently you open your mouth, will start to yield results. I think later on we're going to have, I'm going to offer a masterclass on this, because those of you who find yourself, because you will know that you will feel things changing. And if this becomes something that you really want to refine, we'll probably explore that even more. But that doesn't mean that you don't get to go that deep right off the bat. If it starts to open for you, just keep letting it. The vulnerability is key. And yes, the most naked part of us is our voice. We have spent a lot of time swallowing, silencing, and dismissing our own sound, our own voice, to our great pain. So opening this up, and you'll be doing it in the privacy of your own home. You will be muted, no one will hear you, but you will be seeing me on the Facebook Live image, and you'll just do it with me to the best of your ability. Then afterwards, if you have questions, then write them down in the Resounding Body Facebook group, and I'm happy to get personal with you on how to work that, because really your issue is felt by many. So don't be shy about that. This is a time that you're taking for you to self-heal, to move into a higher state of your own capacity and potential.
Well, and you know, with the state of affairs in the world at this point and everything that's going on, there is no greater time to really make this commitment, right? Like spending the next 31 days really anchoring in this group energy and all using our voices to make the contribution. And like you said, change doesn't happen in the world unless we change what's happening inside of ourselves, right? Which brings me to my next question. And you know, what can people expect from doing these tones or joining you in this challenge? Like, what is really, you know, the benefit that they can get from saying yes and showing up every morning or watching the replays and really making this commitment to themselves to do this practice?
Good question. I think the first thing you're going to experience, and not all of you will, but in general, is your resistance. And by that, I mean your judgments about how you're doing it. And you'll say, well, I'm doing it wrong, or it's not right, or I'm not feeling this, or, and you're worried about that. So just understand that may pop up, and just wave to it, thank it for sharing, ask it to lay down by the door, you'll pick it up later. Because right now you are opening to this new world, and the universe is so eager to have you remember how it's here supporting you, how secure your life is with that connection opening up. Then the next thing you may experience is vibration in those sections of your body. If you don't feel them, not to worry, because this is a new practice. This is probably a new area where you've not had as much vitality awake in that part of your body. So it may take a little longer for you, for instance, in the root chakra. But you could feel it right away. And as we get into the more refined tones, you won't feel them so much as visceral, but you will feel them as an overall a sense of presence and being that allows you to open your heart, to refine your language. Because once the heart is open, the language comes out as pure speech, which means there's no agenda. There's only the truth. And the truth is never dismissing or denying or seeing something as less than or better than. All of that influences how our body moves through this dimensional shift. So understand that some of it you may feel, some of it you won't. See if you can just notice the temptation, pardon me, to judge, and then understand that that's just a judgment, and let it go, and stay open and keep working with it. You know, I will probably start each session with a little bit of posture reminder and placement reminder, and the softening. We will do a few little things to soften the jaw and lift the rib cage, so that we allow the most of vibration to move through us. And then at the end, don't panic. If you don't feel anything, don't panic. You're doing fine. Just put one foot in front, or one tone in front of the other. Build on it, because one day you will begin to feel it. I would also like for you to start writing down your, journal this 31-day experience, what you notice. It's going to be a profound feedback loop for you, because you'll begin to sense how little it took for you to move into a state of ease and relaxation. Because what's happening is that not only are you connecting to source, you're also grounded in your own body. So this expansion is going on simultaneous with your experience, a state of wholeness in your own cells.
Thank you. And we're getting close to wrapping up sort of the interview portion of this, because I want to save time for questions that anyone who's joining us may have. But do you have any final thoughts before we kind of wrap up?
Well, I think this is for you, if you commit to it and you do it with regularity, and I would suggest doing it morning and night, so that you start your day, you tune yourself to have a day that's filled with magic, possibilities, delicious, ingenious ideas. And then at the end of your day, you're clearing, releasing whatever happened, whatever distortion, whatever dissonance that you may have accrued through the day. So I would ask that you fully commit to doing these tones, because you're going to create and magnetize the energy that you feel in and through your body, and how you magnetize your dreams into the world in a way that you can't, where you're sitting today in this moment, even fathom. And as one who's gone through that, it's the oh wows and ahas that happen are, they're not, I never take them for granted. I'm always humbled and surprised and delighted. But the rapid speed at which I allow things in is predicated on how open I am and non-resistive I am, how free energy is moving through me, and there's no obstruction to that possibility. So yeah, just bring your whole self and dive in with me. It's going to be a great journey.
Well, I'm an experiential learner, and I like to have, the practice and the experience of doing it. Would you be willing to just do the toning practice with us right now before we go into questions?
Oh, great. Yeah,
just give everyone an experience of what this, what they have to look forward to and what will be happening during the challenge.
Mm-hmm. Okay, that's a great idea. And I'll do each of them twice. First one, listen, and the second one, see if you want to jump in and do it with me. So the root chakra is UUH, very deep. It's like you're becoming the Jolly Green Giant that we saw growing up on commercials. That deep tone. So you bring your attention to that lowest part of your body, down in the rectum or your tailbone. So the sound is UUH. Now you can see probably my mouth is not wide open, but the back of my throat is full and open. So I've slid the tongue back, creating as much openness as I can in my neck and larynx, so that the sound freely moves without, and that makes it possible for me to hit a very low note, lower than my speaking voice. So the second chakra is just 2 fingers down from the navel, double OH. So making certain that you feel all the air being eliminated from your body through your lower rib cage. So you don't want to take a thoracic breath, an upper breath. just breathe into your lower ribs or into your back. So the third is my favorite. It corresponds to the liver, which was where I was carrying all of my stuff. EEH. So the mouth is spread across the face. And with the intercostal muscles and the lower band, diaphragm band, starting to squeeze, you make the sound EEH. It's a lot more breathy. Throat is soft. And you feel that band tighten. So those first three chakras are your manifesting currents. Now we move into the more refined ascending currents. So there's no pushing, there's no need, because there's no viscera that is being stimulated in the same way that you feel that depth of your body. So the heart center is right in the middle of the chest. It's open wide, 3 fingers wide, an AH or AAH. Now, some of you may be hitting that a little lower for yourself. That's great. You're finding what pitch resonates for you that day. So don't worry about matching my sound. Don't get caught in that. But just know that you're doing your gradual ascension in tone. Moving into the throat chakra, higher tone now, but not the falsetto yet. High ooh, double O-H. Ooh. So the mouth is shaped around the open jaw. So you're making that whistling type of shape without whistling. Yeah. And then we're moving into the third eye. Now this does leap into the falsetto. To do that, you want to throw that sound in through your sinuses to the third eye, so that if you're going to be making the sound through the nasal passage, and the sound is going to come through the nose and the mouth at the same time. It's a very high leap. And if you can't hit it as high right off the bat in that falsetto, remember, you're not singing. You're placing the sound forward in the face mask, which opens up the pineal gland. So high E. And if you need to, start low and then glide high with that tone. It's quite effortless, believe it or not. You're not throwing the sound through your voice. I mean, your throat. You're making it up here. So you're going to sound like Fran Drescher a little. And that will be good. So then we move into the third eye. I mean, into the pineal, and I mean, the pituitary. And your tongue is flushed now against the soft palate of your mouth. And your tone is only coming through the nose. Whereas in the third eye sound, your tongue was just a little bit below touching the roof of the mouth, so the sound could move through the mouth and the nose at the same time. This now happens right up as NG, and the tone is a high M. And it's as though the sound is coming through a tiny pinprick of energy. So as you could hear, my voice kept fluctuating because there was a leap that it didn't make or wanted to make. But so it may do funny things. It doesn't mean that you're failing at the sound. It just means your voice is doing all that movement that you can't do with a scalpel or with your fingers, or arranging your hair a certain way, or brushing your teeth. None of that can be adjusted except with sound. So those are the 7. And in the practice, I will be also including an affirmation for that particular day, that you can really let yourself sit in the stillness after we do the sound to just absorb that, what I call seeds of transformation. And I will encourage you also to speak what the affirmation is, or the seed is, out loud, so that you can tell your body how you are to absorb this new information and set new neural networks. So yeah, are there any questions? We're excited. I'm excited to answer these questions.
And if anybody does have a question, just feel free to unmute your line. We can just go popcorn style, and if somebody else is speaking, you'll be next in line. So let's just be mindful of that. But anyone want to be brave and go first?
Hi. I'd like to ask the question in terms of the resonance. Does it matter if you're sitting on something hard or soft in terms of the resonance of doing this?
Great question. Do not be in pain. So you don't have to sit in a full lotus. You want to sit upright, and you want to sit comfortably. It can be at the edge of your futon or your chair or your bed. So long as you can sit upright with your pelvic cradle tipped a little bit forward so that your spine is nicely aligned without any strain. You don't want to fall back into your couch so that you're caving in on yourself. So yeah, so you can sit on any surface that is comfortable for you.
Thank you.
I have a question.
Yeah.
How important is pitch? Starting with the lower tones and continuing into the higher, it seemed like I was about a third lower than you, and that's what was natural for my body to get the resonance that you were talking about.
Mm-hmm. Well, the pitch is what your body requires at that moment. So think in terms of lowest tone and gradually move up. Your pitch will be influenced by the amount of stress you have in your body for that day, the time of day, your what you ate that day, how much sleep you had that day. So don't worry about hitting a right pitch, because your body is telling you what it needs. So long as you start low and gradually move to a higher frequency, and the incremental tonal change will be just fine. Don't worry about making a big leap. If you have a small movement, that's also great. But don't concern yourself with having those typical pitches that our world tends to assign to these chakras, root being C, etc.
Okay,
So
I started out way lower actually than you. And if I went to the tone where you were, then that area of my body wasn't resonating. So it just seemed like I was naturally lower. So
yes, beautiful.
Okay.
And I can hear that in your voice. Your voice has a deeper resonance than my natural speaking voice. It's that you can go deeper in that moment and just ascend slowly as it works for you.
Okay, thank you.
You bet.
Anybody else?
I have a question about the videos. Will you be making those available if we're not able to attend every single one of them live on that day?
Yeah,
They
Jen,
actually will be, yeah, absolutely. They'll be in the feed on her, the main Tryshe Dhevney main web Facebook page, excuse me. And then we also have created a smaller group called the Resounding Body. And if you haven't joined us in that group, that's where a lot of the next level, deeper teachings will take place.
Right.
And so you can join us there, but they will be posted. So you'll be able to have access throughout the whole thing.
Perfect. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Hi.
Yeah.
What is
Little
what is the time
feedback.
commitment each day?
The time, that's a good question. We'll start at 7:30 and probably end within 20, no more than 30 minutes. Yeah, I think we'll probably, it's hard to say, but give yourself 30 minutes. It could end before that. And if you needed to check out and pick up later, that's also fine.
Yeah, the replays will be available for everyone.
Mm-hmm.
But if you want to join live and get the benefit of being in Tryshe's energy field and really participating and being part of that community energy that we're creating, then they do start at 7:30 Pacific
That's
time.
a really important point, and thanks for bringing that up, Jen,
Yeah.
because there is an energy transmission that happens when we're doing it together. So that's why, if you can make it for that initial morning, you know, as we do it, that would be fantastic, because the information that is shared will be much more significant. Not to say that it doesn't also happen over the playback. It'll just take a little longer. That's all. And by information, I mean it's harmonic information, how these sounds are working with your body and what's transmitted with my own voice. Any other questions?
I have a question. Hi, Tryshe.
Hi.
Do I have to be? I'm not a Facebook subscriber. Do I have to be to attend to that?
Jen,
Are you on
answer
any
that?
other social? Yeah. Are you on any other social media platforms? Like, do you use Instagram, or do you have access to YouTube?
Access to YouTube, and I have access to Tryshe's regular Facebook, the public one, but not the new one.
Yeah, you know what? That's actually where this particular challenge is happening, is on her main Tryshe Dhevney page.
Oh, okay.
So if you have access to that and you can just tune in with us, it'll just be, she'll be going live. And so you'll be able to just get on her Facebook page and then just be present with us there.
Yeah, but I'm not able to talk or something like that, right?
Exactly. It's not going to be an interactive experience.
Oh.
This isn't a teaching or a workshop. This is
Good
just,
question.
we'll
I'm
be
glad you brought
joining. Yeah, it's a great question. We'll just be joining Tryshe as she does her practice live for 31 days, so we can start anchoring it as a daily practice in our own lives.
Oh,
and really, and then we'll be able to ask questions. Like if something comes up in the practice or you have a question, you can leave comments, you can reach out to her on Facebook Messenger, you know, any of those things will allow access. And then we'll be following it up, like she said earlier, with a masterclass where we'll be able to, you know, have a paid offering where people can join us for a workshop, and we'll have more interaction, and we'll probably do it here on this Zoom platform where we have the ability to see each other and interact. But that will come after the challenge.
Yeah. So no, we won't. Though I won't be teaching in the same way of interacting during the challenge. Just opening and doing the sound. Good, you're coming. I'm glad.
And Tryshe, I just want to mention this because somebody's asking about deeper ways to engage with you. And even before the end of the challenge, you have something coming up with the summit on October 10th. Is that correct? Are you going to be teaching?
Yes. Although the schedule of these, and we were just, as presenters, we were just informed that there may be a different scheduling for different presenters. So I don't know when my role will be engaged. Oh, I see Sadiq is on. Great, Sadiq, could you answer that question?
Yes, I can actually speak to that. So we did work with the schedule to make sure that a workshop time is at 7:30. So it's going to work perfectly. The only thing that I had put into the note is possibly on that day that instead of just the 20-30 minutes, that it might be a longer session that day as a deeper dive. So
okay. And so we'll give more information about that,
Right.
how you can follow up with that. You know, that's sort of something separate from what we're doing, but I just wanted to mention it because there are people here who might be interested in what's happening. So we'll make sure on social media that we have a way to talk about the summit and give you lots of information about that. Exactly.
Yeah.
So that's
Sadiq,
another
it's very
opportunity
exciting.
to interact. Yeah, another opportunity to be with Tryshe in that way.
And to touch our global family. You know, it really is connecting us through this web of sound. So how you're holding the space, Sadiq, is so exciting. Mind-bending, and deeply honoring to be a part of it. Thanks. Any other questions?
I'm not sure if you can hear me.
Yeah.
Yes, we can.
Yes. Okay. So I'm not a Facebook person at all, and I'm just wondering if you would be open to offering them on Zoom too, or is maybe I just need to become a Facebook person?
Well,
just a question.
Again, Jen, are we posting this on YouTube as well?
Oh,
We
would be
will
lovely.
be we will be posting it on all other platforms. That's why I was asking if you have access to those. And so we'll follow. Are you on Tryshe's email newsletter list?
I do not believe so. So I will go ahead and get on that too.
Yeah, if you go to soundshifting.com, you'll get our beautiful opt-in gift, which will help with this. And then any follow-up information and logistics of like where to find her other than Facebook, we'll make sure that we follow up with that so people who aren't on Facebook have access.
Okay, very good.
It's good information for us too, just as we're kind of joining the online world and figuring out
creation
how best to serve people. So absolutely. So thank you for the feedback.
And I just would like to say thank you so much for doing this. Oh my gosh. It just is, it makes my heart just, anyway, thank you so much.
Outstanding. I'm glad you're going to be a part of this.
Yes. Have a beautiful day. Thanks so much. I look forward to it.
Good.
Thank you.
Okay. Yeah, it's key to have that, the PDF, the Primordial Tones ebook, it's free, will really help you understand what they are as advanced harmonics that we are born with, we have in our being already, and then all of the links, etc. So that will be a great guide for you, and the explanation about each chakra area as I have seen through moving through me. So that's on my website, and just click the gift me button and it'll come into your inbox once you leave your email address.
Thank you.
You're
welcome. Any other final questions? No?
Okay, I think we can. I just want to say thank you, Tryshe, so much for your beautiful, beautiful time with us today. And if we want to just end as we do on a note, maybe you want to just guide us in a final awe, and then we can all just say goodbye and be blessed with our day. And hopefully we'll see you all in the challenge next Thursday, 7:30 a.m.
Oh my gosh. Yes, it's October. COVID has helped me lose track of time. So if you would join me, I'd like to choose the sound of the throat chakra, triple OH, otherwise known as HU, who, which is the nameless name of the divine. So it's a higher pitch tone, triple O or HU. And let's just do it once. Yafata. Have a beautiful day. We'll see you on the 1st of October. Email any questions or go to Tryshe Dhevney in the Facebook homepage, type in questions, or at the Resounding Body, type in your question. Bye.